This is the Video Dock. It is the ultimate desktop camera recorder that can stream 4K video, capture 4K footage to SSDs, has a built-in dock for importing your footage directly to your computer, sports an HDR display for monitoring yourself, works with wired or wireless microphones, can be programmed to automate your production, like turning your cameras and lights on or off, or starting up streaming software and texting loved ones. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I built it and how you can build one for yourself. But first, a disclaimer. Rode sent me the Streamer X, which is a part of this crazy build. Now that said, they are not sponsoring this video. No money exchanged hands. However, this video is supported by those of you who have purchased my camera guides, LUTs, and camera gear projects like this one. So check the links in the description to learn more, and thank you guys so much for the support. So let me go ahead and show you how the Video Dock works, all that it can do. Then we'll get into building it from scratch, and then I'll show you how to use this thing to control just about anything by pressing a button and being able to turn lights on and off, and so much more. So I've got a camera set up so we can take a look at how the Video Dock works. So the first thing you'll notice is the form factor. We have these two devices and we have a swivel mount, so you can really find the perfect angle for your displays. Now I'm using a Ninja 5 on here, so I can actually record 4K footage, but you could use really any monitor. The nice thing about going with the Ninja 5 is I have added a module on the back, which I'll rotate around here so you can see a little bit, that has an SSD dock. So the way this works is I can take Samsung SSDs like this one, slide it in without a caddy or the Atomos caddy, and now I can actually record directly onto the Ninja like so. When I'm done with my recording, I can go ahead and stop it and use the second slot back here. So there's actually back here on the end another dock. So I can just take this SSD, plug it in, and now it's going to show up on my computer desktop, and I can go ahead and ingest my footage immediately. So if you're a YouTuber, this is fantastic. You simply take your SSD, connect it to the Ninja, you go ahead and record your video. When you're done, you just go ahead and pull it out, stick it into the dock on the back. Now you're ready to go ahead and import and edit your footage. Another really cool thing about these two devices being used together is how you can loop your HDMI. So currently, my main camera angle here is going into this Ninja right here. I then have it looping out and going into this Streamer X, which allows me to pull it up on my computer, and I can record there or stream from there while recording on the Ninja. I can also use the Ninja to do things like apply LUTs and all kinds of other cool stuff. So if you do recording and or streaming, these two devices are just amazing. And then of course we have these smart pads here. We have 3 pages of customizable buttons that can do some amazing things. For example, this purple button here, if I go ahead and press it, that lamp in the background is going to deactivate just like that. And if I want to turn it back on, all I have to do is press this purple button again, and it turns back on. So we're gonna talk about how you can automate or control smart devices or just make your video production or live streaming workflow so fast. So that's an overview of the Video Dock. Now let's talk about putting this thing together. To build a Video Dock, you will need the following: a Rode Streamer X, the Atomos Ninja 5 or another monitor, the Video Dock base, which you can 3D print yourself or buy as a kit from Camera Foundry, the Ninja SSD module kit if you're going to use the Ninja recorder. This is also available as a 3D file or a full kit with screws and everything you need provided. So first we're going to take our Streamer X and remove the sticky feet on the bottom. You can pop these off with a flathead screwdriver, and we're going to be reusing them in a second. Place the Streamer X onto the Video Dock base. There are 2 little tubes that fit into large holes underneath the Streamer X to help with alignment. Next, we can take a 3/8 long 1/4-20 flathead screw and secure the Streamer X to the Video Dock. With the Video Dock base installed, we can now take those rubber feet we took off earlier and apply them to the bottom of the Video Dock. Now we can start working on the monitor mount. Take the 3D printed monitor tube part and attach it to the Video Dock using the 2 3D printed knurled knobs. Now you can take the monitor mount and attach it to a recorder or monitor using another 3/8 long 1/4-20 flathead screw. From there, use 2 M4 by 18 flathead screws to secure the monitor mount to the monitor too. Now you have an adjustable swivel mount for your display. If you're using the Ninja 5 and want to use Samsung SSDs, as well as adding a USB SSD dock to the setup, you can add the SSD module. To install it, first order one of these SATA to SATA adapters and use two M3x10 panhead screws to bolt it to the SSD module like this. From there, you can pick up a SATA to USB adapter so that you can connect this whole thing to your computer and connect and read SSDs. For now, we can slide the entire SSD module onto the back of our Ninja 5 and use another 3/8 long 1/4-20 flathead screw to secure the top of the module to the top of the Ninja 5 so it doesn't slide back out. Optionally, you can 3D print one of these cool SSD handles for better ergonomics and identification, and this is included in the 3D print files, which are all down in the description. Now, of course, you don't have to use the Ninja 5. You could go with a regular camera monitor and attach it to the top and skip all the SSDs altogether. At this point, we can connect everything together and get our cables set up. The video dock has 1/4-20 mounts on the sides and the rear. That allows you to add different cable organizers to get everything nice and tidy. I used one of these small rig cable organizers on the side of the video dock to secure HDMI cables down. We can also connect the two USB cables to the X. The first is going to be our power cable, and the second is going to go to our computer. The Streamer X has two USB connections for two different computers, which is fantastic if you're going to have, two different machines and want to switch back and forth. So keep that in mind. And then we have all the audio inputs and outputs. For microphones, you have so many choices on the Streamer X. It accepts XLR, 1/4-inch headphone microphones, and can even act as a receiver for Rode Wireless Go devices, so you can wirelessly send audio from your transmitter directly into the Streamer X. All of the microphone and headphone options are easily controlled with dials on the front of the Streamer X with fantastic lighting to show levels. I also love the addition of these mute buttons on the front, so I can press the microphone or video mute button and shut down visuals and audio, and then of course activate them again, which is just fantastic. Speaking of buttons, let's get into programming these smart pads to control pretty much anything and do some wild automations for your video production or live stream. So on the right side here, we have 4 buttons and then 2 arrow or page buttons, giving you a total of 12 programmable pads on the Streamer X. So I'm going to show you how to do things like control smart devices, but also entire workflows with a single button. So here's how this works. We're going to take the buttons on the Streamer X and use them to send MIDI commands to software. So let's start with a basic command where we press a button and one thing happens on our computer. First, we need to fire up the Rode Central app. This is how you can control the settings of your Streamer X. With our Streamer X connected, we can click Customize Smart Pads, Continue, and choose a button. Remember, there are 3 pages of 4 buttons to choose from. Choose one of them and you can see that these pads can do a ton of cool audio stuff, but we are here for MIDI control. So let's choose that and hit yes. The first thing we're going to do is choose latching and custom. Now we can change the type to note and finally set the color of your button. For me, I'm going to set this first button to blue. So now we have our first input. Now let's get some software set up to take that input and do something when we press the blue button. To do this, we're going to need something that can read MIDI inputs. Now there's tons of software out there. I've chosen to go with a piece of software called Keyboard Maestro. It's a macOS application that is super powerful. It's not free, but I would buy this thing 10 times over just because it's so powerful. That said, there are more affordable options or options available if you're on another platform like Windows. The point is, you need something that can take MIDI commands and do something with them or execute macros. I'll include a link to a video talking about Keyboard Maestro at length if you're getting started with it. But in short, we are going to open up the software, create a new folder called Rode Buttons, then a new macro, and we'll call this one Test for now. Next, I'll add a trigger and choose MIDI. Then we're going to go back to the Rode Central app and copy that information from our button and put it into Keyboard Maestro for our trigger. So I'm going to set note to 0, channel 1, from Streamer X. So the software can see we have the Streamer X connected. And to test to see if the setup is working, let's add an output or action. I'll click New Action and search for Activate a specific application and select, Safari as an example. Now when we press our new blue button on the Streamer X, the Safari app opens. If we want to press the same button again to close or quit Safari, we can simply duplicate this macro that we've created and change the name of it to Test Off. Then I'll change the Note 0 is pressed to Note 0 is released. Then I'm going to change the action from Activate Safari to Quit Safari. By the way, this only works when you have the Road Central app button set to latching, not momentary. Now we can use a single button to open and close Safari, or really anything. So now you can start to see we can stack stuff and have a ton of different things happen when we press a single button. Now let's add some more complexity. Let's say I want a single press of a button to prepare a live stream or video recording at my desk. So I'll add a MIDI control to eject hard drives, turn on Do Not Disturb on my Mac, turn off Wi-Fi so I'm only using my fast Ethernet connection, quit all apps, open a web browser and go to the YouTube Studio page, open my streaming software, text my wife that I'm about to start streaming. So I'll add another button in Road Central, choose MIDI again, set the button to custom, latching, change the type to note again. This time I'll add note 1, but channel 2. Since again, we want different notes and or channels so that we can differentiate all of these commands. Now I'll set up a new macro in Keyboard Maestro, which you can take a look at here and copy for yourself. A few of them use Apple scripts, which I've made, and you can Google how that works on your own. Now with a single press of a button, all of these actions take place in seconds, which saves me so much time and having to remember to do all of these tasks. I could also duplicate that macro and change all of the actions to reverse things. So turning Wi-Fi back on, turning off Do Not Disturb, sending my wife a text, etc. Now let's finally control some smart bulbs or outlets using another button. Same process as before, set up the button, new note or channel, add that info into a new macro in Keyboard Maestro, but this time we are going to send an email to If This Then That, which is a free service that can do many different things when you send it in email. In my case, I connected my smart outlet to IFTT and told it to toggle the outlet switch when the email is received. Now when I press this purple button, this lamp behind me is going to toggle on or off. So as you can see, the Streamer X can run some incredibly simple yet complex automations for your productions and live stream. I love having this thing on the desk and having so much control over so many different things. And that's gonna wrap up this fun little project. So if you wanna learn more about the parts used and wanna build one for yourself, check out all the information down below. Stay tuned for more builds like this here on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you in our next video.